If you would come, sir, and just state your name and your address, and you will have 5 minutes, sir.
I'm Brady. My address is actually changing right now. Currently, I live at 1224 Deuce Drive, which is in Mansfield ISD, but just down Cooper in Arlington. And I'm moving to 3112 Rustic Meadow. I think that's in Mansfield proper. Anyhow, all right, so good evening. Tonight, I come before you with a deep sense of urgency and frustration because what is happening in our community should concern every single one of us. The very recent proposal to build a car wash next to Willie Brown Elementary is not just a minor development, it's a glaring symbol of misplaced priorities. Picture it for a moment, the relentless noise of cars, the pungency of exhaust, steady flow of erratic traffic just steps away from where our children are supposed to learn, dream, and feel safe. How can we say we prioritize our children's education and well-being when decisions like this are even considered? This isn't just poor planning, it is a betrayal of our trust. And the frustration does not end there. The car wash isn't being championed by people who don't know better. It's being pushed by leaders who we once elected. Leaders who are supposed to have the best interests of our school and our community at heart. What does it say about our school board and city council when personal and business interests overshadow the needs of our kids? We have to ask ourselves, when did we allow our city's leadership to become so out of touch, so willing to compromise the sanctity of our schools for something as trivial as a car wash? This issue is emblematic of a much larger problem. It's frustrating and frankly baffling to see Mansfield ISD fall short again when it comes to keeping the public informed about school board elections. Just one glance at the website shows an incomplete version of what's going on, a glaring failure for a district that endured chaos last election cycle. One would think that after last year's debacle, marked by confusion and distrust, the administration would seize the opportunity to show its commitment to transparency and regain public confidence. But here we are, waiting, searching, and we are still disappointed. Where is the accountability? Where is this so-called dedication to openness and accessibility? It's not enough to offer vague promises and platitudes. Actions speak louder than words. And this silence is deafening yet again. This community deserves clarity, especially when the stakes are so high for our children's education and the future of our district. But the frustration does not end there. We have watched as our school board has descended into dysfunction. Chaotic meetings filled with shouting matches that spill into the hallways, police having to be called to restore order, and a complete lack of accountability when it comes to holding powerful friends responsible for actions that hurt our schools. The support for school vouchers that threaten to strip funding from public education is just another glaring example. These policies and decisions weaken our schools, they hurt our students, and diminish the value of every home and family in Mansfield. This is not leadership, it's negligence, and it's hurting working class families the most. It's difficult not to question whether this continued pattern of negligence is truly accidental. How many oversights can we take before we start wondering if there's more strategic, or if they are more strategic, than they appear? With 3 seats on the board currently held by incumbents, it's hard not to suspect that the goal is to keep new, potentially transformative voices from entering the conversation. Even more alarming is the trend of pushing unqualified and even ineligible candidates into positions of influence within our school district, which raises serious concerns and questions about the motivations behind such endorsements and highlights a failure to prioritize the best interests of our students, merit and qualifications. Our students and educators, sorry, I am not very good at reading. When leadership choices are driven by personal or political loyalties instead of merit and qualifications, it weakens the very foundation of our educational system and compromises the trust of the community. Mansfield ISD owes its parents, students, and the community a straightforward explanation and an apology. This is not just about today's gaps, but about a culture that either doesn't prioritize transparency or actively resists it. In summary, we face issues that should concern every member of our community: a reckless proposal for a car wash next to an elementary school, a school board mired in chaos and ineffective leadership, troubling support for school vouchers that threaten public education, and a persistent lack of transparency. especially evident in the outdated election information. These are not isolated problems. They reflect a deeper failure of leadership that prioritizes personal interests over the welfare of our children and families.
Thank you, Mr. Brady.